Hey everyone, I've got some special guests here to help us look at the human inheritance lab. This one's kind of a fun one to do at home because presumably you've got some of your family members around you that you can kind of compare your weird and quirky traits. So we're starting to look at genetics, and genetics is the study of heredity, and heredity is how you get your genetic traits. So we're going to look at some of the weird variations that we have in human genetic traits for this lab. And the traits that we're going to look at, we are making the assumption are single gene traits, which means that it is one gene codes for one particular trait. Some traits have multiple genes. Things like eye color, for example, it's multiple genes that code for eye color. So if you guys show them your beautiful eyes, right? So I've got my blue-eyed kid, Emily, and my green-eyed kid, Connor, and then I have my brown-eyed kid. No, you don't want to show them your brown eyes? You show them your brown eyes? There he is, with a mouthful of popcorn. Go ahead, go get some more nummies. Go ahead, go. So those genes, traits like eye color are actually multiple gene traits. We're going to stick with just single gene traits today. And the traits that we're looking at follow what we call simple Mendelian genetics, meaning there's two versions of each gene, a dominant version of the gene and a recessive version of the gene. With a dominant gene, you only need to inherit one copy. Go ahead, go get more. You only need to inherit one copy of the gene in order to exhibit that trait. With a recessive trait, you need to inherit one copy of the recessive trait from mom and one copy of the recessive trait from dad. So you need to have two of them in order to exhibit that trait. So my guys have some interesting blends of these things. So this is what your lab looks like that you can have open up with you while you're doing this. As far as it goes in Canvas, it's a text box, so you're just going to tell me which of these traits that you have. You can copy the chart if it makes it easier for you, and if it doesn't, then that's totally fine. I did have a pen around here somewhere to show this, but I apparently don't any longer. Okay, so on the lab, I'm going to start throwing magnets. So on the lab, I won't cover your face forever. On the lab, the first trait that we're going to look at, which is a really quirky, weird one that I'm sure you never thought of before at all, is free earlobes or attached earlobes. So if your earlobes are free, like mine, they don't connect straight to the side of your head. Thank you, Gavin. Let me see your earlobes. You've got free earlobes like mommy.
Me too.
And Emily, let me see. Nope, you're free earlobes. And you're the child with the attached earlobes. Come here. Put your ear up. Put your ear up to the side. Gavin, heads up. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see. Stop moving, don't move. All right, there are some attached earlobes for you. All right, so that is actually a trait that he's exhibiting from his father. So for us over here, oh my goodness, this is a full-on circus. So for us over here, if you're looking, if I'm filling this out for myself, I have free earlobes. So that means I have at least one dominant gene. Whereas if I'm looking at Connor, my big guy, he's got attached earlobes. In fact, he's got attached earlobes, so he would have two copies of the recessive gene. Now, the only way for him to have gotten two copies of the recessive gene is to get one copy of the recessive gene from his father and one copy of the recessive gene from me. So, because I have kids, I can kind of go back and figure this one out, but I must be big L, little l. I must be big L, little l. So it's not necessarily a mystery for me whether I am homozygous for this trait, big L, or if I am heterozygous for this trait, big L, little l, because I had a little l to give because I have a child with attached earlobes. A very interesting child with attached earlobes. All right, So moving on for your next one, cleft chin. And all of my guys have ran off to go get a snack. But cleft chin is that idea, some of you call it butt chin, all right, where you kind of have like that indent in the middle. That's a dominant trait. None of my kids have that. I don't have that. My husband doesn't have that. So we are all here, little c, no cleft. There are varying degrees to that. Some are, not exactly equal to each other. If we go in widow's peak is your hairline coming to a V. That's something that I do have. But my daughter, hi Emmy, can you stand up a little bit because you're a little too short for the setup that I have here. My daughter does not. Her hair is rounded. And I'm pretty sure both of my sons are both rounded also. So if I'm filling this out for me, I have a widow's peak, so I'm either big W, or big W, little w. And again, because my kids all have a straight hairline, little w, I must be heterozygous for this trait because I had a little W to give. This one, tongue rollers. And this one is totally my favorite one to do in class. So rolling your tongue is a genetic trait. And being able to roll your tongue is a dominant trait. So I'm a roller. I'm big R, or I'm big R, little r. People who can't roll their tongues, you guys make tons of crazy faces, and I really wish I could see what you're trying to do while you're attempting to make your tongue rolls. Hey guys, can you come here and show them how you roll your tongues? See if I can get Gavin to do it, because Gavin is a non-roller. So Emily, roll your tongue. You've got popcorn on your mouth. Ew, gross. Finish that. Roll your tongue. Gavin, can you do this? Show them. Right here. Look right here. I don't know if you can see his mouth, but he can't roll his tongue. But Connor can. So I have one non-rolling child, which means, again, I must be heterozygous for that trait. Mr. Nugent is upstairs on a Zoom meeting right now, but he is a tongue roller as well, and if he gets down here, I'll make him show you that. So he must also be heterozygous. You want to show him? Oh, you're going to show him Connor's math homework? Can you roll your tongue? Let's go. Can you do that? Mouthful of snack. Thank you. Oh, yeah. All right, beep, beep.
I'm getting dumb.
You're getting what? Okay. All right. Oops. Dimples. And we don't have any dimples in this house. We are all dimpleless. When you have the little in your cheeks. So we are all little d. If you even have one dimple, that gives you a dominant trait. So that you're either big D, or big D, little d. Mm-hmm. But my house, we are all recessive for that trait. What's next? I'm trying to read this paper backward. Hair on your fingers. So what we're looking at there, I really need to do my nails, but is on the, I really need to do my nails, right here on that joint. Well, Emily painted that nail for me like a week ago. But on that joint, I am dominant for that trait.
Am I?
I don't know. I think you have a little bit. So that that would be big H, little big H or big H, little h. If you don't have hair on that in the mid digit knuckle, you're looking at big H, little h. If your hair is black or brown, then you are a dominant trait. And we're dealing with various shades of brown. Thank you, big guy. It doesn't matter if your hair's dark brown or light brown. If it's brown or black, then we are looking at a dominant trait. Whereas blonde and like a true blonde or a redhead, then we're looking at you being a recessive for this trait. Sorry, I did some gardening this morning. Curly hair or wavy hair is dominant over straight hair. I have three straight-haired children, so they all have recessive traits. I myself have wavy hair. I did straighten it for the large occasion of videotaping this, you know, in front of my refrigerator today. It's a big day for us here. So I personally would be big Y or big Y little y, but since I do have straight-haired kids, I'm most likely heterozygous for that trait as well. Folding your arms right over left or left over right, so if you like kind of pretend you're mad. I am left over right. You check out, see what you are. And then my personal favorite, and I think this one's super weird, is hitchhiker's thumb, which 2 of my kids do have. So I don't have hitchhiker's thumb. My thumb is straight. But Connor, come here for a sec. Okay. Can you show them your thumb? Right, so you see how his thumb bends backward here? That's hitchhiker's thumb, or at least that's what we call that trait. Emily has that as well. Thank you for your help, baby. So that is, hitchhiker's thumb is a recessive trait. So my son would be little t for that trait. I have a straight thumb. So I am either big T or little t, but you can make an assumption if he received a little t from his father, then he must have received a little t from his mother as well. So I must be heterozygous for that trait. You're not going to be able to necessarily figure out whether you're heterozygous or homozygous for these traits unless you start looking at your parents. But, you know, maybe you give them a little bit of space when they get home, you know, from work today or wherever they are. You're not just, like, attacking them to look at their earlobes because that would be kind of weird. But at any rate, that's how you go through this lab. Go through the lab, take a look at what traits you have, try to make the assumption as to what genotype you have, what letters you have, but really I'm worried about the phenotype, what you look like. So are your earlobes free or are they attached? Or do you have a cleft chin or a round chin? And then you're just gonna write those traits in there for me. I really just want you to use this as an opportunity to check out your own traits and start thinking about how you inherit some of these genetic characteristics from your parents. All right, hope this was somewhat helpful. You also got a little peek at what a circus this house can be. Have a great day, guys.